So Edwin De Los Santos put out a lot of crazy information recently, where he was saying that Tank Davis was basically an option at for the next fight, and that he was also going to be basically picked between Lamont Roach and De Los Santos, because De Los Santos was a person that was kind of in the situation like with Rolly. I mean, not Rolly, but Rayo. He had already fought Rayo, so he was kind of looking at being next in line at an opportunity like that. He wasn't thinking that he deserved it or anything. He just felt like the way things were going, he was going to be next in line for possibly a fight with Tank. He's saying that he is healthy right now, that he can fight. He won't be fighting until March because he says he has personal issues that's going on. But so he will be fighting in March. But a lot of different things he has been saying over the last couple of months have definitely made sense. But I told people a long time ago that De Los Santos was an option. A lot of people said, well, De Los Santos is a guy who lost. He's coming off of a loss, and he's not that good. And why would Tank want to fight a guy who's coming off a loss and everything like that? Well, I mean, when Rayo fought Chris Colbert, he was coming off a loss to De Los Santos. When Rayo fought Chris Colbert the second time, he was coming off a loss. So it's like, I don't understand why people are saying, hey, this guy's coming off a loss and everything else. People have always lost in boxing. Daniel Dubois came off a loss and fought guys like Usyk. So that really doesn't matter. But I'm trying to watch how much information I give in this video because, people be pocket watching. But De Los Santos definitely gave out a lot of information. He also said that he walks around at 160, which is not a big deal. And I'm going to tell you why. He says that this is allegedly, but a word around town is that multiple fighters have been saying, I'm not going to put that out there yet. I'll save that out there. But yeah, he's definitely giving out some great information. I'll just say that. He's definitely lining up things perfectly. But he was happy that Hector Garcia was fighting Tank Davis. He thought that Hector Garcia was actually giving Tank Davis a lot of trouble in that fight. Up until the point before he got the stoppage. He thought Tank Davis was getting a lot of trouble in that fight. But Hector Garcia is an excellent guy who's from the same country as him. And they represent a lot, and he's not going to talk down on him. But I know for sure, if you asked him, he would definitely know that he's a tougher fight than Hector Garcia is. This is two guys from the same country, and we know that De Los Santos is a more dangerous fighter than Hector Garcia, because even Tank Davis said after Shakur Stevenson fought De Los Santos the first time, he said, hey, if Shakur Stevenson fight De Los Santos again, I would give Shakur Stevenson a fight. And the reason why he said De Los Santos again, because De Los Santos is just that good of a fighter. He's that dangerous. He brings those type of things to the table. He does a lot. And now, with the whole scenery of 135 playing out the way it is, it looks like, just from the outside looking in, that Shakur Stevenson's resume is going to line up to be very decent at the end of the day. If Shakur Stevenson ends up fighting De Los Santos and Williams Zepeda right now, Shakur Stevenson going to be a top guy at 135. Period. At 135. Once you fight De Los Santos and Williams Zepeda, and you fight Artem Harnian, who's basically the guy that Frank Martin got to fight with for Tank Davis. That's who he beat to get the Tank Davis fight. So a lot of that stuff is starting to make a lot of sense. But when De Los Santos was saying a lot of different things, man, I'm just putting this out there because I know a lot of guys want to hear it out there. But he was just saying that a lot of these guys at 135 is heavy. They walk around very heavy. They're not guys who just walking around at 140 and 150. That's definitely not going on. And he's also letting things be known that he had an option to fight Rayo But it was some different things that went on around that time. Not only was he injured, he had to pull out of the fight because he had an injury to his elbow. And that was part of the reason why the Rayo fight didn't happen. It wasn't the main reason because Rayo was going to fight Pitbull regardless because it was for a belt. But that was part of the reason why the fight didn't happen. And it makes a lot of sense when you look back at it. But when everything, people were saying Del Santos was injured, he just had tendonitis in his elbow. That was it. He just had tendonitis in his elbow or his arm or something like that, and that was it. It wasn't like he snapped his ACL or something like that, and he had to go out here and he just had to rehab tendonitis in his elbow, and that was it. He was probably on the heavy bag too much, probably in the gym too much. I seen him sparring a lot. Things like that probably kicked in. But he's giving out a lot of good details about the sport of boxing right now. A lot of good details. He's saying that certain fights, it can happen, but, he's not going to just try to run around and force certain things when you got to get yourself in position. Del Santos got a good outlook on a lot of different things. And the way he's looking at certain things in the landscape of boxing, he's also letting it be known that he was one of the only options for the Tank Davis fight. And I was telling people that. I said, hey, man, Del Santos could be an option for this fight coming up because I feel like right now it's Del Santos, Pitbull, and Rayo. Okay, so if you take Pitbull and Rayo out of that situation, who's left? Del Santos. Everybody said Del Santos was hurt. I'm here to tell you right now, Del Santos got an opportunity to fight Tank Davis. He would step in the ring right now. Because everybody said Tank sweepstakes and the paydays and everything. He ain't finna turn that down. He will step in the ring with Tank Davis right now. He said he's fully healthy, but for personal reasons, he won't be fighting until March. For personal reasons. Now, I've already seen a couple of personal reasons he had last year and things that was going on. I know his brother was in a car accident. They had a lot of different things going on. I think a fatality happened. So he definitely couldn't go out and make something happen. But Del Santos knows that this is a different level that we're at right now. And he knows a lot of these fighters are not trying to jump in the ring with certain guys. He knows that Shakur Stevens is a threat. And he also said that he just broke down the fight with Shakur Stevenson kind of good. Didn't feel like he should have been punished in that fight for not engaging because that was the whole way the fight went. He said, I just wasn't like that in certain fights. Even in the loss I had before, he was in a situation where, well, I'll tell that later on. But, yeah, this is a video just to discuss a couple of things. I was saying that Del Santos was the only option besides Lamont Roach because Rayo and Pitbull is off the table.